Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Matt here, and we back with another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. So today we're gonna get into a little bit of MMA news, little MMA news going off in the MMA sphere. We're gonna talk about just a couple of things that's going on right now. First off, let's get into these. I'm gonna go through a couple of fight announcements. Two of them kind of intertwine. Two of them are kind of connected, and we're going to find out about those. First off, the biggest one, the UFC, Dana White has now announced that Alexa Grasso will defend her 125-pound championship against Shevchenko, that Chevy truck. We talking about Valentina Shevchenko getting her rematch on September the 16th, Mexican Independence Day. It's going down. It is going down. Shevchenko gets her rematch against Alexa Grasso. So now I know the first fight, when you look at it, it was exciting, but it wasn't super exciting. What made it exciting is the fact that Alexa Grasso went out there and actually finished Valentina Shevchenko. All right? So I'm kind of interested in the rematch because, you can pull out all the stats and facts and everything, and you're going to find that most of the time, the younger fighter who dethroned the champion generally comes back and wins again in the rematch. But when you're dealing with folks like Valentina Shevchenko, just like everyone found out, you messed around and you found out about Amanda Nunes when she lost her title and rematched. These caliber of fighters, these caliber of former champions, I guess you would say, they're cut from a little bit of a different cloth. So it's kind of hard to say that Alexa Grasso is going to go out there and work her and beat her again. So I think it's definitely going to be a very interesting fight. I'm not really going to get into the specifics of it because it's too early on. But I'm glad to see that they signed that rematch. Glad to see that any unfinished business by Valentina Shevchenko at 125 pounds is now going to be finished. Because I know there was a lot of rumblings, a lot of rumors that she might go up to 135 pounds and take that championship now that Amanda has retired. So it's good to see at least she can tie up this loose end, and then she's going to go up to 135. We'll see for that in the future. But the other fight I'm going to talk about, I think, plays or ties directly into this, and that is the UFC announced Aaron Blanchfield is going to step in the octagon with Tyler Santos at 125 pounds. Now, this is a big fight. Important fight. The reason why this fight is important, and I don't know how action-packed it's going to be, but it's a big fight for this simple fact. You've got Aaron Blanchfield, who I believe that the UFC is now in the process of grooming to definitely fight for the 125-pound championship. Aaron Blanchfield, she's got that dog in her. I know a lot of people get sick of that saying, but it just fits. She's got that dog in her. And so when you look at her, she can be a boring fighter. However, she can be an extremely exciting fighter because she's so well-rounded. So you never know if she's going to throw them hands, lay them paws on somebody and get them out of there. Or you never really know if she's going to wrestle, grapple, control them, use top pressure to get her opponents out of there. Either way, it's a very sound game plan that she usually has. She's very strategic. She sticks to her game plan, and usually whatever her game plan is, she's going to systematically run through that game plan till her opponent can't handle anymore. And either she's going to finish them, or it's going to go to the scorecards, and she's going to be the one on the scoring, the winning side of that scorecard. So that's very interesting because whoever wins between Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko, I definitely think Aaron Blanchfield will be a worthy contender, a worthy challenger. So that's good. On the other side, Taylor, or might be Talia Santos. A lot of people believe that she should have got the nod against Valentina Shevchenko for the 125-pound belt strap. title, championship. You know what I'm saying? Whatever words you want to pull out. A lot of people believe that she should have won, and I gotta admit, that night I was sitting there, I'm lit, I'm watching the fight, and when they reading out the scorecards, I'm kind of I'm like, oh no, if Valentina pulled this one out, I hope she does. I think she does by my scorecard, but even I could only give her 3-2 rounds, so I'm like, oh no. So, when she did end up winning, I believe that there was still a swell of people that were like, yo, what's up? Santos won that fight. Now, I don't know what was going on with Santos after. I know that I believe the UFC tried to make that rematch. I think Santos turned it down. I've heard, a couple rumbles. She was having issues within her camp. I don't know if it's her management, if it's her coaching staff. I really don't know what was going on there. But straight up, that woman almost beat Valentina Shevchenko. And if she hadn't gotten that horrible eye injury during that fight, she might have won on the scorecards. I think part of her losing on the scorecards was just the visible damage that was on her face. So, nevertheless, these two fights kind of intertwine, because I definitely see a world where the winner between Erin Blanchfield and Taylor Santos could definitely go in there and face the winner of Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. So that's going to be awesome to see. That Erin Blanchfield fight is in August. Goes down the month before the championship fight. So that's going to be interesting to see. Another fight that was signed. Shavkat, y'all. Shavkat at 170 pounds is going to step in there with Kelvin Gastelum. You know what I'm saying? Well, there you go. You know what I'm saying? There you go. So, let's talk about this real quick. So, Kelvin Gastelum, goes out there, has his last two fights have been a fairly good showing for him at middleweight. So, that's good to see. As his reward, the UFC goes along. I'm sure he probably was the first one that suggested it, or they might just offered him a fight at 170. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. But his reward for his last two fights in middleweight is to drop down to 170 pounds, which he hasn't been at for like 4 or 5 years. I don't know the exact number of years, but I'm probably pretty close. I mean, it might have been longer than that. It might have been 6 or 7 years since homie has, put down the tacos and burritos. No disrespect. He said he loves those. Google that. That's some of his favorite food. The homie, he ain't been down there in a while, bro. Who's sitting there trying to starve himself and make 170 pounds as a grown man? You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, his rewards, he gets to drop down to 170 pounds, and he doesn't get a favorable opponent or a middle opponent. He's got to step in there with Shavkat. And there you go. So, there you go. Personally, when they step in the octagon, I see Shavkat not only winning, but Shavkat's going to finish Kelvin Gastelum, in my opinion. I don't even think that's going to go to the scorecards. It's possible, because Kelvin has that dog in him. So, it definitely is possible. But Shavkat got that dog in him, too. A.K.A. see Shavkat versus Jeff Neal. So, and Jeff Neal got that dog in him, too. This is 3 dogs, you know what I'm saying? This is a dog pile, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, Shavkat's going to go out there and finish Kelvin Gastelum. And I'm not disrespecting Kelvin's skill level. Kelvin's a great fighter, talented fighter. Is now a veteran fighter. He's got veteran tricks of the trade. But he's got to drop down to a weight class he hasn't been at in like 6 or 7 years. And he's got to face Shavkat. So I just can't really go with Kelvin in that, and I believe that much in Shavkat. So that's where that's going. Let's touch on something else. Yesterday, they had the media presser, so to speak, or, media interviews. I don't know what the UFC actually refers to them as. For Sean Strickland, it was stepping in there for his main event this Saturday at the Apex. So, man, they do this interview with Sean Strickland. And homie is Sean Strickland literally pulled up to this presser and draws down and just sprays the block. I mean, it was a straight drive-by. This was Snoop and Baby Boy, the movie, and Snoop hangs his arm out the window and just hits the whole block, bro. Like, I mean, Sean Strickland was going at everybody. And, he's doing his Sean Strickland thing. He had some choice comments about people's sexuality and couple of things about the LGBTQ community. No disrespect at all. He was saying a lot of wild stuff. I also found it interesting that he was still going at Izzy, and he brought up the fact that Israel Adesanya, that video came out of back when he used to, early in his career, when he used to fight in China. He did some lame A video where he's like, "Look at me. You may think that I'm African, but I'm Chinese, just like you." And it's like, bruh, get this dude out of here, bro. Anyway, so I actually, there's very little, there's nothing at all I agree with Sean Strickland on, but his comments about Israel Adesanya, I always agree on, because I know that, I'm not in the majority, but outstanding, talented fighter Israel Adesanya is. Israel Adesanya as a person is cringe, just cringe AF, bro. He's just, I can't stand to watch his interviews. There's a lot of fakeness going on. There's a lot of lies being told. He always tries to make it look like certain ways. And if you don't really believe me, look at like his last 3 to 4 interviews on the MMA Hour, and you're going to see him flip-flopping, jumping, saying all these different things that just doesn't correlate with who his real character is. But nevertheless, this ain't about him. This is about Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland just sprayed the block, went at quite a few people, acts like he's not taking his opponent seriously from this weekend. But honestly, I think that that's part of the game plan of Sean Strickland. I think most people fall for a lot of what these fighters do at surface level and don't really realize that this is all a plan. And if you ever do any sort of research, in the interviews and listen to a lot of different fighters talk, you'll find out that a lot of different fighters that have interviewed since Sean Strickland started doing all this will kind of tell you that, the dude is actually a good guy in real life. This is just a game he's playing to get his name out there, to sell fights, to make more money, to get in favorable getting favorable matchups, so to speak, with the UFC, because they know he's going to sell a fight and he's always down to take a short notice fight. So, a lot of people, y'all can take this Sean Strickland act as his real deal if you want to, but I think it's all just it's a part of the game. He goes in there, he talks down about his opponents before the fights, act like he doesn't know anything about them, like he hasn't really studied them, like he's not really aware of why they're even fighting, why they're even a good fight or anything. And then he goes in there, you can clearly see he's done all his homework. He's watched all of the tape, he's watched all of the footage, and he knows his opponent. And he goes in there with an amazing cardio gas tank, and he works these guys. Bare bones basic. He's not worried about finishing these guys. He's not worried about, trying to style on them. He just goes in there, uses basic tactics, and beats these guys. I'm not a fan of Sean Strickland, but I respect the game. So that was cool to see. It was so I don't know. That whole deal was just wild. Just to see him just style on people as far as just clowning everybody. So that was interesting to see. It was interesting to see how the MMA media was that were there and asking the questions, their general reactions. Most of them just like kind of shelled up and were like, he would say some mean stuff to them, and they would just literally go monotone like they wasn't even there and be like, "Well, all right, I guess that's where we're gonna go to today, Sean." Like, a lot of these guys have absolutely no personality. So it's like you throw like 10 no personality media in the room, tell them to ask Sean Strickland questions. They're not prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? This is You know, these is the guys that grew up getting made fun of in homeroom. They ain't got no type of comebacks, ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? These are the folks that was at the bottom of the joking barrel in high school, you know what I'm saying? So they ain't ready for this type of assault that Sean Strickland puts on them. So, you know, nevertheless, that was kind of interesting to see. I still have a feeling that he's going to win this fight this Saturday, but we shall see. Nevertheless, that was what was going down. That's some of the MMA news. MMA news. Some of the things that's going on right now. So, I don't know if they have any more press conference stuff going on today or anything. I don't know when you're watching this, but it's Thursday. So I don't know what the UFC's got going on today. Tomorrow the weigh-ins. So I'll probably try to tap in, bring y'all a little something else tomorrow. But nevertheless, I appreciate you all watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's get a little chitter-chatter in the comments, so your boy can try to start getting some of this YouTube money and we can upgrade everything that you see here. Maybe I'll start doing the show in a suit. You know what I'm saying? In a nice suit with a tie, like an actual journalist on the television, on the telly. But nevertheless, I appreciate you guys for watching these videos. I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.